Episode 2 of My Wonderful Life. That's me, having a life. Alright, so where I left off, so I ended up in St. Joe's, and I was there and I was really confused. Well, let me just give some premise. So yeah, like I said, I was taken away forcibly, obviously. I'm just doing this for me because I don't remember where I was at or where I left off. Yeah, so I I went to St. Joe's and I was there for 3 or 4 days. I ended up in shelter care for kids in Minneapolis, and it was essentially an orphanage. And my biological mom was still visiting, and I was about 6, I think. And just shortly after, they found out some of the information about her lying and all these other things, and so the parental rights got cut off. Essentially I was a ward of the state, so that was fun. From shelter care for kids, I went through foster care. About from 6 to 12, I went through about 17 different places, because I was just a crazy kid, and people didn't like that back then. And I had ADHD and OCD and fucking ODD and a billion other things that I don't understand, that don't really affect me a whole lot now. But in between that time, I was at Girard of Iowa for a little bit. I went back to shelter care for kids when I was 8. While I was at shelter care for kids, I met a mentor named Jeremy, and he was we were all assigned different staff members, and he was the staff member that was assigned to me. And he would take me fishing, and we would, just kind of hang out and talk, and he'd kind of mentor me. He would, make sure he was kind of like a father figure in a sense, when I didn't really have one. And so I kept in contact with him when I went to Girard, when I was about, I think I was 8, around 8, so like, from 6 to 8, I went through a lot of my foster care. I had a failed adoption, went back to, I failed adoption because I attempted suicide at the age of 8, or no, 7, something around there. I tried to hang myself, so, yeah, I was fucked up. I forgot about that. But yeah, it was just really rough for me, and, bumping around so much, I never really had any stability, and I never really had any sense of like family, or, it was all about survival. It's always, and it still is, like, even now, that's one thing that I've taken with me, is like, my whole life has all been about how to survive and how to, not thrive, but just to make it by, and until I make it by again. Sorry, I'm like getting like a little teared up. No, and after so much, like, I was really messed up. Like, I couldn't function in regular schools. I was in special schools. I was in so much, and I never really have thought about it this in depth, I guess, but you get to share it with me, I suppose. So after shelter care for kids, I went to a treatment center in Iowa. And while I was there, like, I didn't have anybody. I didn't know anybody. I had left everything that I'd known, all the friends that I had made in the 2 years I was at shelter care for kids. Just all these things, and I cried for days that I was there. And when I was an 8-year-old and dealing with loss, a lot of loss, there was a staff member there that was a fucking asshole, and so they put me on timeout because I was crying, and then they made fun of me the way that I was crying. So I haven't cried. I've only cried about 2 more times since then because of that. So thanks, fucking Ryan, you piece of shit. If you ever see this, yeah, I remember your name still. But yeah, so I became kind of a leader there with, in the groups. I mean, it was like we had a school there, and it's actually kind of cool. So it was a mansion that this army general used to own, and he donated it to be a treatment center. So they still have the original mansion, and they built other, dorms and stuff in there. Some of the younger kids, and I think it was separated between boys and girls. So there was girls that lived. The girls group was in the mansion, and then yeah, we could go there for meals and stuff like that. But while I was there, I don't know if any of you ever remember hearing about the kid that died, that from a staff member putting him in a hold and keeping him there, and he suffocated. I knew that kid. He was in my dorm, and we all had to kind of deal with that. His name was Tanner. I remember not liking him, but that's really irrelevant at this point. We were all really sad when that happened, and I knew the staff member that did it, and she was horrible. It was just a really bad place. And like I said, I didn't know anybody there, so it was difficult. I didn't have family, I didn't have people visiting me. I had my team from Hennepin County, and that was it. And Jeremy, so going back to when I was he started to come visit me, and he, it was a welcome relief from being on. He would take me out on little outings and stuff like that. And there were outings and stuff from there. Like, one of my favorite places that we used to go there was we went to, I believe it was Rockford, Iowa, where they have like fossil pits, and you could go and like just collect fossils for like hours, and I had a whole backpack full of fossils that I wish I knew what I'd done with. But me and him kind of formed a bond, and he really was like the closest thing to like a parent that I ever had at that age. And Jeremy, if you ever watch this, thank you. I really appreciate what you did for me back then, and you really, it's just, I was always blessed with people to help me along the way. And I don't think I would be that person if I, people hadn't taken an interest in me. I don't know what this is right now. There we go. And so, so I mean, it eventually, one of my favorite memories from there was, so I had a friend, his name was Dakota, Cody, we called him, and he had been dealing with his own stuff, and we all did. We were all traumatized children in one spot. So there were fights, and there were other things that happened, and other crazy things, but no. So he had gotten a Game Boy Color, and it had Pokemon, and we were obsessed with Pokemon. That it was 2000, like 1999, 2000, 2001 is around that time. And that was, so like everything was Pokemon. I had like 3 or 4 shoe boxes full. I had played all the games, but I never had my own Game Boy. And like I said, I didn't have anybody to get me one. I certainly wasn't working. I didn't have a job or money. Going back to it just made me think of John Mulaney, where he's like, I am very small and I don't have any money. So you can imagine the kind of stress that I'm under. That was me. I was jealous, I was really jealous that he had people, and a lot of people had people, like they had family and they had people visiting them, and I never had. I just had my team from Hennepin County, social workers and case managers and blah, 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 and people trying to find me a home. And, I thought I was going to be there forever, honestly. But they knew that I really wanted a Game Boy Color, and for my birthday, and I would get stuff like donated to me, like Christmas and stuff. We had little stuff, but anyways, on my birthday, they brought me a turquoise Game Boy Color with a Lugia sleeve in Pokemon Silver, and it is to this day my favorite item. My favorite Pokemon game, Pokemon Silver, Pokemon Soul Silver, and then I had Pokemon Yellow as well. They got me Pokemon Yellow. So those were two games that I played, and then Legend of Zelda, we had Oracle of Season, Oracle of Ages, which were amazing games. But yeah, so like I said, Jeremy visited me, and eventually he took me, I was able to go on weekends sometimes with him to like his apartment, and he introduced me to his parents, and eventually convinced them to be a foster family for me. And I don't know, I still think back to that, and it's crazy because like I could have even just this far into it, and there's still plenty more. I haven't even gotten to everything yet, and I guess I have, but not, there's still the adoption and everything. But this is just how my brain works. I apologize. I get distracted easily, and when I tell stories, it's just like, oh, you should hear this thing as well. But no, I've always thought back and like what kind of person I would have turned into if certain very specific things had happened or not happened. So, yeah, it's crazy to think about, and in the next session I'll go into talking about the Vances and how they kind of shaped me. But as always, thank you for watching. I hope everybody's well, and that these videos are hitting a nerve with you guys, or just if they are or aren't, feel free to comment and let me know. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys think. This is kind of just for me. This is part of my therapy, but if I can tell a story and have somebody relate to it, that's a feat for me. So as always, have a good day, and we'll post soon. Bye.